Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Hopefully you are doing fine. In today's session, I'm going to talk about reading skills. There are four language skills, and they are really essential for us to communicate in a proper manner. Language skills that are the abilities that enable you to express your thoughts coherently and communicate with others. These skills provide structure and relevance to the information you wish to convey to the recipients. Reading, writing, listening, speaking are the four essential skills that comprise basically on language competency. So the first one is listening skill. Listening refers to understanding, interpreting, and analyzing the speaker's message. Listening is an integral part of the communication process as it is vital for the listeners to stay engaged and actively comprehend what is said. This helps increase clarity, ask relevant questions, frame appropriate responses, and prevent misunderstanding. Speaking, similarly, is related to listening as well. Speaking is the verbal expression of your thoughts and ideas. Speaking effectively includes having clarity and fluency in your expression and vocabulary. It also includes the other essential abilities such as confidence, passion, and storytelling. Speaking skills are usually important when companies are hiring new employees. Writing skill involves presenting your thoughts in the form of the text using the right structure and the flow of information. Writing includes changing the format and tone of the text as per the target audience, choosing the right vocabulary, medium, and outline for what you wish to convey can ensure you that your writing is interesting and delivers the intended message. Likewise, the fourth skill is reading skill, which will be the topic of today's session. Reading skill helps you understand different texts, their context, and inference. These skills are crucial to improving your overall literacy skills as they can help enhance your vocabulary, expression, analysis, and communication. Reading different text forms carefully, such as letters, messages, notes, memos, emails, and reports, can help prevent miscommunication in your personal and professional relationships. So the first one is reading as a skill. Let's look at this SQ3R strategy that we utilize while conveying the expertise and learning the process of reading as a whole. So the first one is survey, second one is question, third one is read, fourth one is recite, and the fifth one is review. So this is called as SQ3R strategy. So first step is step number one, that is survey. To survey the chapter means to preview the chapter before you read it. The three goals of surveying: to get a general overview, a feeling for the writer's style and organization, a sense of what is important, an idea of the chapter's natural breaks or division. So you get an overall idea about what the chapter entails, about the tone of the writer, and about the detail and related message so that you could be able to understand and comprehend it. How to survey? There are 7 steps. Read the title, first of all, the title of the book, the title of the chapter. Second one is read an introductory material. Pay attention to the chapter's outlines, list of questions, goals, and objectives. Third one is to formulate a general question about the chapter's overall point or points. Fourth one relates to reading each heading and the first sentence following each heading, which is called as topic sentence or thesis statement. Fifth one, look at the visual aids, read all the captions and explanations accompanying the graphics. Sixth strategy is that reading all the bold printed or italic words and words in the margin. Seventh step of survey is to read end of the chapter summaries and the questions and read the last page if there is no summary, because in the last the conclusion is given by the writer. So why should we use survey approach? Get the bigger picture, describe what's important, know the main points, connect what you already know to what you don't know, such as developing the background, prepare to read. Step number two, likewise, is related to question. Question technique is very important. Turn chapter headings and subheadings into questions to guide your reading. Ask what, who, why, how, where, and when questions that can give you a very limited answer, because where and when will be specific, but ontological question and an epistemological and axiological question related to what, who, and why, and how is related to methodology, would be able to help you understand the context and the detail of that particular idea that is given in the chapter. So there are, let's see further details. Step 2 related to the question, the chapter heading and subheadings that you are going to see and you are going to use. So you are going to ask the language symbolic realities, how language is the one that is used as a kind of symbol. What does it mean to say language symbolizes reality? How does the nature of the language affect our verbal messages? What does language symbolize reality? So why does language symbolize reality? So language as a symbolic representation of the social, historical, political, psychological, and all the other processes that entail the social life or communal life is relevant to the questions that are being asked. So why should we ask question? Because it keeps us staying focused, it gives us purpose, and it creates a kind of interest in our understanding and reading material. So there are three levels of questioning. First one is literal, second one is inferential, and the fourth one is evaluative. Literal, whom did, there are question, whom did Little Red Riding Hood's mother send her to meet? So this will be a very straightforward and simple question, that is literal question. Inferential question would be, do you think Little Red Riding Hood will make it to her grandmother's house safely? Why or why not? Suppose your answer with the sentences from the story. So in a way, it is a kind of inference that you intend to make from the story. Third one, evaluative question would be relevant to this, and the statement would be like, do you think it was right for Little Red Riding Hood's mother to send her off into the woods alone? Why or why not? Support your answer with the sentence from the story. So here it will be evaluative. Simple sentence was related to literal questioning, and then inferential, that how do you understand, and evaluative, how do you analyze and evaluate, and see in the context of right and wrong, and see in the context of the cause and effect. So detail would be related to the evaluative question. Generating questions, teachers can help students learn to generate their questions by providing extensive practice in answering teachers generated questions, beginning with who, what, when, and where questions, adding why and how, using question stems, using sticky notes to help students identify where they could ask themselves questions. Step number 3 is related to reading. Read. Never study. Read without a highlighter and a pencil in your hand because they help you note down the important aspects out of that particular reading material. Read to answer your guide questions for each section and subsections. Rereading is common. Read every word. Underline or highlight. Be selective while reading. Underline, highlight only the words and the phrases you need. When you go back and reread your underlining or highlighting, the text should have the meaning. So the important words, the message or content carrying vocabulary should be highlighted and underlined. Make notes in the margin, that is annotating, and then mark important text items such as dates, names, concepts, key points. Use circles, stars, arrows, or numbers to highlight all these important ideas. Then your goal is to read the chapter thoroughly only once. So if you are able to read it thoroughly, you will be able to understand and grasp the main concept and the theme behind the topic. Why should we read? To gain information, to prepare for lecture, to prepare for discussion, to prepare for tests. So these are the 4 steps that can help us understand the reason behind the process of reading. Vary your reading rate. This is relevant to the speed. Adjust the speed with which you read. Don't be afraid to slow down if the text becomes difficult. Reading rates include scanning, going for the particular information, skimming, getting general overall ideas, study reading, close or analytical reading. So these techniques and strategies can help us understand the variety and the speed that we inculcate while reading the process. Step number 4 is recite. To recite means to say something out loud. After each section, stop and test your comprehension. Recite the answer to your guide questions. Write out the answers, put in your own words. Write a summary and create outlines. Write notes in books or papers. Create 3 into 5 or 4 into 6 cards that can help you remember the important ideas that you have jotted down and noted down. Why should we recite? Improves concentration, helps you remember the material. When to recite? Immediately after reading section. So this really helps us when we read immediately after reading section. Why so? Because we can note down and jot down all the important ideas. So review after reading. Look at the headings and see what you can remember about each one. Skim over your underlined, highlighted words. Add margin, notes, and marking before test. What you can do, make an informal outline that can help you understand. So highlighting and underlining, while doing so be selective. Highlight and underline key points. Highlight and underline just enough to use the points as a process of review. So, according to procrastination expert Neil Fair, fear of failure is the main reason why people postpone the inevitable or procrastinate. Thus, procrastinators delay because of their anxiety about not having the required skills or knowledge to complete the task at hand. They would rather fail to try rather than be exposed as stupid or incapable. So people procrastinate or delay. Why so? Because of their fear factor, because of their anxiety, and because of the pressure, because of the peer pressure, because of the social pressure that they feel they are not able to face the people. So writing in the margin would include summary of key points and then comparison of opposing point of view. Cite your own personal experience. Jot down potential test question. So there are two main areas in our mind. First one is Broca's area, and second one is Ver Wernicke's area and Wernicke's area. The first Broca area is located in the left frontal region near the motor cord, and the patients who have damage in this particular area are unable to perform very well. And Wernicke's area is in the temporal region of the left hemisphere that can also be responsible for the problem in the speech or comprehension stages. So strategies for remembering new words. What are these strategies? Let's have a look at these particular strategies that can help us remembering and understanding the new vocabulary. So the first strategy is circling new words. Circling of new words in the book that you are reading. Write the words in your vocabulary journal or the diary that you have kept to increase your vocabulary items. Create a visual image of the word. Think in your own mind, such as monarchy means rule by one person. So you can have the image of a monarch from the history that have people who have ruled as monarchs or kings, and imagine someone wearing a crown and sitting on a throne. So you can have someone from the history, a king or queen, maybe Queen Elizabeth or King Charles or anyone else from the history. You can remember the person sitting and wearing the crown, so that can help you understand the word monarch or monarchy. So incorporate new words into your emails and conversations. So use active them as active part of vocabulary, because in passive vocabulary they would go to subconscious and unconscious and you would be unable to use them. So whenever you remember something new, whenever you recall something new, use it or lose it, because of your expressions, because of your daily inculcation of those vocabulary items can help you understand the images and related words. So using mental imagery visualization for fluent readers, visualizing may or may not be automatic. Struggling readers rarely use this effective strategy. Visualizing is the most often used for narrative text, but it can be applied to informational text as well. That is why we use aviators, that is why we use realias, that is why we use role plays and real objects from our real life, so that they can help us in remembering. That is why the uh, teaching process of a direct method or communicative approach or community model or suggestopedia, they can help us visualize images in a clearer manner. So identify the story or the text structure, begin the story maps of the narrator narrative text. So make your maps, tree diagrams, teach categories of narrative text structure such as characters, settings, events, problems, resolutions. So you can note down or various sections on your notebook and make a tree diagram out of the character, setting, themes and events, so that they can help you understand the text in a clearer manner. So teach 5 structures of information text: description, cause and effect, compare contrast, sequence, problem, solution. So these can also help you remembering the words, ideas or concepts. Teach use of the signal words to determine the text structure, that can also help you. So there are two approaches. One is bottom up approach and the second one is top down approach. Let's have a look at these two approaches. Readers build meaning from the smallest units of the meaning to achieve comprehension. For example, letters, letter clusters, such as consonants and vowels. So letter clusters, syllables that can be converted into words which are called as morphemes, and the words in the form of the groups can be in the form of the phrases that can be converted into clauses and then into sentences and the longer text, and the meaning comprehension could be achieved from the lowest to the highest level that is given to us. So reading is regarded as the process of decoding, which moves from the bottom to the top of the system. So writer encodes and the reader decode. So bottom up knowledge, linguistic knowledge is used, knowledge of the convention of print or like way words look, relationship between sounds and the letter. Then you can use from the lowest level, such as phonemes, which are related to sounds, morphemes related to meanings, and then words, and then phrases, and then sentences. From the lowest to the highest level, this type of approach is utilized here. This is linguistic based approach, language based approach, where you focus on parts of speech and where you focus on the meaning of the words. So model of reading process, that is the second one, is top down approach. Top down is basically related to the context or the contextual understanding or the background. This model emphasizes the reconstruction of the meaning as the reader interacts with the text. Readers generate meaning by employing background knowledge, expectations, assumptions, and questions. So here, this one is a bigger or a more social oriented approach. Using this information to the reader forms hypothesis about the text elements and then samples the text to determine whether or not the hypotheses are correct or if they are null hypothesis. So you can see that how this model of teaching reading is based on the process of theory in which reading is regarded as prediction check process or psycho-linguistic guessing game is utilized. The learner use pre-existing knowledge, which is known as schema, of the topic or the field or the culture, and understanding and life experiences to make what makes sense. Also, the model of reading process, during that particular process, an interactive model is used. As the reader moves through the text, he or she implies various types of the knowledge. The reader draws on bottom up and top down knowledge alternatively or simultaneously, depending on the type of the text, the reader's background or knowledge, and his or her language proficiency level are incorporated and utilized. So the example would be, reader uses top-down strategies until he or she encounters an unfamiliar word, when then employs decoding skills to achieve comprehension. So in a way, background knowledge, also the uh, bottom up approach simultaneously can be used in order to understand. To sum up the whole process, providing comprehension instruction pre, during, and post. So, pre reading, what should we do? In pre reading, give the purpose of the reading and then preview the pages to be read. Then review previously read material, activate prior knowledge, and teach meaning of the new vocabulary items, teach decoding of the new vocabulary, and then frame prediction questions to guide reading process. So during reading process, what are the points that we should remember and keep in our mind? Ask literal comprehension questions periodically to ensure understanding. If silent reading, use sticky notes for the questions and for self-monitoring notes. Analyze the meaning of lengthy complex sentences for help with syntax. This that is related to grammar. Integrate aspects of pre-reading instruction. Develop metacognitive strategies, independent use of decoding unknown words, context clues, and self-monitoring for meaning and self-monitoring for attention. Use visualization as multi-sensory approach. Include use of highlighters and pantomiming for each multisensory stimuli, which is related to expressions and which is related to the art of dramatization that we utilize during the process, so that can help us remember and understand the meaning and the context or the background of the text. Post reading, what are the things that we should focus in post reading? Link activities used during pre reading and during the reading process. Return to the prediction question and questions asked during reading. Main idea that the theme or thematic patterns. Then ask questions requiring inferential or evaluative comprehension. Use graphic organizers and story webs. Then scaffold process of looking back for the information needed to answer higher level questions, and then return to visualization or multi-senses approach. So in today's session, we talked about bottom-up approach, we talked about top-down approach, we also talked about their interactive model, and then we also talked about various strategies for remembering new words, and also we talked about SQ3R process, which relates to understanding of the new words and the understanding process during the reading process, and that can help us in understanding of survey questions, read, recite, and review. So if you have any question, any confusion, any query, you can reach me out in the comment section. Till then, stay tuned, stay happy, stay blessed, and make this world a happy place. So Allah Hafiz and bye bye.